What's happening, everybody? John Hendricks here for Boot Crew Media, coming at you with talk a little bit about the Saints and the playoff hunt going into Week 17. Playoffs, right? Yes, we are talking about that because it is still a realistic thing. Look, now, less than a few percent chance, right? But there is a way and a path for New Orleans to be able to do this. Now, there is a way they could sneak into the wild card, but there's a lot of voodoo crazy scenarios that will happen. The best path for New Orleans is that they have to win the division. Now, in order to do that, what's going to have to happen is they're going to simply have to win their final two games. So they have to beat Philly. Tough ask, right? But Philly's also going in there with Gardner Minshew, still extremely talented. A lot of weapons there. Saints haven't won their past two that they have played in Philly. So really it is kind of for the season. So they have to win at Philly, and then they also have to win against Carolina in the season finale at home. So that's the first two things that have to happen. If Philly wins on Sunday, doesn't matter. This is all a moot point, right? But Tampa has to lose their last two, right? And so there's a lot at stake for Sunday because Tampa plays Carolina. Carolina's been a team that's been on an upward trend, right? And so if Carolina could beat Tampa, then obviously things continue to be a little bit interesting there. And then as far as the final week, Tampa plays Atlanta. So it's something crazy because if we talked about wild card, Saints are 12th in the conference. So again, wild card scenario, that's something crazy. You'd have to have some other teams completely just fall off the face of the earth. But the NFC South has been pretty bad. Tampa's been a bad team. I mean, let's not play. They struggled to beat the Saints. They had to rely on a come from behind victory. They had to do the same thing against Arizona and play in overtime against Trace McSorley. So there's still stuff to be invested in here. Obviously, this is a big weekend coming up. The Saints, again, they have to win to stay alive and hope for the best in the other game. But look, it's going to be an interesting bout of football on Sunday. I think New Orleans is a team defensively that has played extremely well. Offensively, they got to be able to put some points up on the board and just kind of get out of their own head, right? And, again, DA said they don't really look at these last two games and how those unfolded, but just to kind of remember those that, the Eagles got up on them early. They had a very commanding lead at halftime. The Saints couldn't get anything done. They couldn't stop the ground game. They were committing turnovers, all sorts of things. And that's how both of those last two games came. So I look for them to get a hot start, at least get some points up on the board. Don't get blank going into the second half. This is going to be as important as it comes. I look for the Saints to not necessarily pull out all the stops, but a lot of the things necessary to do to try to get a win. We got some deficiencies on the offensive line, not having Andres Pete there. Josh Andrews, the veteran, former Eagle, got called up. He's going to actually play in place of him at left guard. And then obviously Calvin Throckmorton at right guard. We'll see how it all plays out. But again, Saints win the final two, let Tampa lose the final two. Saints are your NFC South champions. That'd be the craziest thing to happen. And for those who were trying to get rid of DA, there's no way you could justify doing that if they were able to walk into the playoffs like that. And it's the NFL, anything can happen, and it's all about how you play ascending into this, January slate of postseason, because the season will end and wrap up next week on January 8th. So we'll see how it all unfolds. Saints telling me there's a chance. I'm John Hendricks of Boot Crew Media. Thanks to DraftKings Sportsbook for sponsoring today's show. Don't forget to hit that code BOOT. Type in that code BOOT, rather. You can't really hit that on that, but type in that code BOOT. Chance to get free money off a same-game parlay. You can use it for college bowl season, football, all sorts of fun stuff. Thanks, guys. We'll talk at you soon.